Okay, hello. Hey, you out there. This is your Graceful Ager, and this series is Grief, Widowhood, and Faith. My wonderful guest today is my good friend Caprice. She is CEO of HeartLink Network Worldwide, and I'm so grateful that she didn't allow this organization to be dissolved, and because I've benefited so much from it, especially during my loss. She's also a distributor of Juice Plus, which I faithfully take to protect my immune system. So Caprice, welcome. I'm blessed to have you here. Your networking organization has been a great source of community for me, and it has been a source of encouragement for me, especially with you, a praying woman, and of course, Juice Plus is the best. I would like for you to say a little bit about yourself before we dive in.
Well, first, I would like to say something about you, because you're so loving and servant-hearted, and you're showering me with these praises. But I want to say how much of a blessing you've been to my life, and just knowing you and knowing, your vulnerability and just your life and what you've been through. As tough as it is, your story impacts me, and it makes me know that anything's possible when we have God in our life, and I know that you've been so strong in that message and relying on him. And then now what's happening with Ethan, your grandson, and his faith and his potential in the world as he grows. I mean, all of that's super inspiring to me. So I just want to give a shout out to you that you are one of the strongest, most faithful women that I know. And you're like a butterfly, just that, the metamorphosis, and you've turned into somebody that's just impacting in such a huge way. And I'm honored to be your friend.
Thank you, and so am I.
My background is I long ago was in the corporate world, and this was 20 years ago. I had 3 little sons, and it was very stressful. So this is why I became an entrepreneur, because I was tired of being held hostage to the schedule of a corporate woman that traveled, and I wasn't able to be the mom that I wanted to be to my 3 little boys. I found nutrition as something that I liked a lot better than technology. That was the industry that I was in. And I decided, when I was able to stay home, thanks to my husband, who was, got to a point that allowed me to stay home and be the mom I wanted to be, I decided that I wanted to get better at nutrition. And so that's how I got into the world of health coaching. I became a certified health coach. I discovered a company that's the largest functional food company in the world, which means that when you put this nutrition in your body from plants, that it helps your body function optimally. And I knew that was what my family was missing, because I felt like I was a neglectful mom. They were eating chicken nuggets, macaroni and cheese, and pizza, like a lot of kids were, eating out and going out when, my husband and I were busy professionals. So I made a point of, I wanted to learn about nutrition and help feed them well. And as a faithful woman and a believer that we were made, specifically for a purpose here, and our bodies were made to take in what's grown on the good green earth for us, to work perfectly in us. I knew that plant-based nutrition was what we needed in our family. So that's when I luckily found Juice Plus products. They're concentrated plants. Literally, the label's a nutrition label, not a supplement label. So you're getting God-given nutrient combination that was meant for our bodies to operate on. And so when I got into that, because I was an entrepreneur, so as much as I love my children and wanted to cook and provide for my family, which I did, especially when I had the time to stay home, I didn't want to only do that. I feel like we all have a purpose. I felt like my purpose was even bigger, and so I wanted to make a difference in the world. So I decided that I was going to become a certified health coach and continue to help people adopt healthy lifestyle habits and get more plant-based nutrition. Fast forward, I discovered HeartLink Network. The HeartLink Network is a organization for women in business, for entrepreneurial women, to network in a heart-centered way. So a woman that I love and adore named Dawn Billings, she is a author, she's a psychologist, she's a women and families advocate. And about 15 or 16 years ago, she identified that there weren't very many, if any, women's networking groups. And we network differently. We communicate differently. I mean, you heard, Grace, that women say 10,000 words to a man's one. And we, I love, don't get me wrong, I like to network with men too, but I really, I love the sisterhood of women communing together and sharing from the heart and supporting one another for collective prosperity. I mean, they say all boats rise with the tide, and what we do together in the HeartLink Network is we have each other's backs. We learn about what each of us shows up in the world with our gifts and talents to serve others with, their businesses, their nonprofits, whatever it is, and we shout the praises of those so that we all rise together and we can all make a bigger difference collectively. So I found HeartLink when I was looking to network for my health and wellness business, and when I discovered it, it was the first women's only networking group I'd been to, and I immediately felt a warmth. I felt that heart-centeredness. I felt that women truly had mutual respect and desire to support one another. It wasn't like, just here's my information, call me so I can spill everything I can do for you out. People were giving each other their full attention. And I loved that. I think maybe because I have 3 sons and 2 brothers, that I love that community of women, and just as a sisterhood that I never had. So that part of that is why I just really fell into wanting to support women. So fast forward from there, it's been 13 years since I've been running the South Orange County chapter, and I have had a meeting every single month for 13 years. And I also run communities online to bring women together to support their business growth. And I also help them with their health. So it's a perfect combination. My LLC is called For Healthy Connections, and I help women with community and resources to improve their health of their business and their life. So the business part of it is HeartLink Network Worldwide. Life part is health coaching and Boost Plus, and you need to have that life part to support your business. So that's my story. Dawn Billings ended up retiring several years ago, and then her organization at one time had 300 chapters all over the nation, and she let that go. My chapter in South Orange County ran independently, and eventually she gave her blessing just to take the name. She didn't own it, but just to say, you have my blessing if you want to rebuild this. So the last year I recreated HeartLink Network Worldwide. We rebranded, we created a whole new website, heartlinknetwork.com, and here we are.
What is the principle of HeartLink Network? There are 4 things that before we start a meeting, would you mind saying those things?
Absolutely. So over the years, I believe that everyone should align with, or should, I don't like to use the word should, but they would benefit from aligning with groups and communities where the core values of that community matches their own. And I think one of the reasons why HeartLink Network has sustained so long and it attracts such high integrity, heart-centered women is because of our core values. They are friendship first. When you are in a community where you truly do have that mutual respect and you consider one another friends, you don't have to be BFFs, but have a friendly relationship where you trust, like and trust that person, then in a business networking community, you're naturally going to have referrals because you're my friend. I trust you. I know that if I give my friends your name and number, that they're going to be well taken care of, and it gives me a really great feeling because it's a win-win. It's a win-win-win for each of us. So friendship first is key. The second core value of HeartLink Network Worldwide is we complete, not compete. And I have an abundance mentality, and my goal is that abundance mentality is embraced by every woman in the HeartLink Network Worldwide. A lot of people tend to have a limited self-limiting, no, it's not a self-limiting belief, but a more short-sighted mentality where they might feel like they have to be the only one in their industry at a meeting, or they just all the business is going to come to them, when really each of us is put here on earth to serve different people. And so I believe that when we have, like, I'm in health and wellness, 13 years, I've never forbid another health and wellness person to come to my events. I welcome, in fact, my meetings tend to have a lot of health and wellness people because, it trickles down from the top. And I think it takes a village to get the message out that we need to take care of ourselves. And you're doing such a great job, Grace, at educating and building awareness that it's not just about nutrition and Juice Plus or face reflexology. I mean, we believe they're required. I mean, everyone would benefit from both of them, but I would never tell anybody it's the only thing. Yeah. We need a holistic view, and I love that you're talking about other ways besides just the common ones that we think of: hydration, nutrition, exercise. There's all kinds of ways: spirituality, using your voice, just connecting with people, prayer, right? I mean, so I love that you're building awareness with all that. So we complete, not compete is really important. Have an abundance mentality, because there's always going to be the perfect person in the room that you were meant to serve. Mm-hmm. The third one is always add value. So a lot of old school salespeople, it's really about their hit list, how many people can they reach out to and talk to about their product, and I think that when you give and you give and you give and then you ask, that goes, you'll attract far more clients that way. Mm-hmm. And so you always want to show up, whether it's an in-person networking event or a networking community online. Always think first, when I show up there, what kind of value can I add? And you add value first. And you add value by asking questions and listening to other people. Mm-hmm. I forgot where I heard it many years ago. So I wish I had the name of the person so I could give them credit. I've always used it for the last 20 years, that you want to be more interested than interesting with people. Mm-hmm. And if you're more interested, and you show someone that you are curious, you're interested to get to know them, you are hearing them, you're seeing them, and that is a really effective way to deepen relationships. And so always add value wherever you go. And the last one is we rise by lifting others. So in HeartLink Network Worldwide, that's a key philosophy, that we're not there just to hand our business card and hope that we get a call, or follow up and just ask, listen to my pitch. We're there to think collectively about everyone's success. And so we rise by lifting others is really key. And I call it collective prosperity. Collective prosperity. If we're all really focused on how do we serve others, we're heart-centered because we really care. We complete, not compete. We focus on friendship first. We always add value. I mean, how could you go wrong? Yeah. We're all going to collectively rise.
Yeah. My mother raised me to, Grace, always open your hands to give, because that's the only way you're going to receive blessings from the Lord, which is true. So I've always followed that advice from her. Uh, I know that HeartLink is in different states now, and you started it's in Canada. I really admire that you have taken on such a big undertaking. What motivates you?
What motivates me is that for 13 years, we have had a very successful HeartLink Network group in South Orange County, California, as well as several other chapters that remain standing after the former organization closed. And the model, I mean, just for all the reasons I just explained, I feel like we need more of that. Yeah. We need more of that all over the world. And so if we can attract and show the example of heart-centered business people, yeah. That maybe that will trickle, that will be an example that others can learn from. And the more we can, have that present and attract those kind of entrepreneurs, the more awareness that everyone will have that heart-centered business approach is the way to go.
But it takes one person to step out first, which you have done. And I am truly, I don't know if I could undertake that. I really admire you for that. And those women should also be grateful because they've been given a platform to not only increase their business, but to benefit their personal lives. Because I think networking is not only for business. This is also, would you agree, for women who don't have a business, just like me, who suffered through a loss? What do you think a camaraderie and community does to somebody who has experienced grief?
So in HeartLink Network Worldwide, it is promoted as an organization for entrepreneurial women. Although I think it's a fantastic place for a woman without a business to attend. Last night we had a meeting in Orange County. There was about 25 women there, and there were two women and there might have been more, but these two particular women who actually ended up connecting and sharing their stories with each other. And that's how I found out that they had been through a lot of life and a lot of struggle. And one of them, it was their first time that they had ever attended a business networking event. And she is a coach, and she brought her college-age daughter because she wanted to expose her daughter to successful entrepreneurial women. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really smart. Bring her 22-year-old daughter, who she's bringing into her business. So what a great way to create a foundation for her daughter's future in business. And so she expressed that, her life has been challenging. Then another woman, but to continue with her story, she sent me a message today, and she also stated last night that she was so grateful to have this community and that she will be back. And she absolutely loved and appreciated the way that the community embraced her. And the other woman, who happened to be a masseuse, she also had almost tears coming out of her eyes. She said that she'd been through a lot, and I didn't ask details, but I respected and felt for her. And she also gave similar feedback. They both have businesses. The college student yet he was going to get into her mom's business. But I think it's a great place too for any woman that wants to be inspired and empowered, because even if you don't have a business, you will have a plethora of resources from women that you can trust, that also might inspire herself to create a business or to get involved in a business or to create something that can make a difference, even a nonprofit. So it does, even though it's promoted to entrepreneurial women, we welcome women and will embrace women that are just looking for a loving, heart-centered community.
That's great. I know you're a believer and a praying woman, and I just when I go to other networking, it's really don't people don't talk freely about their faith, uh, and it seems as if it's not acceptable to do that, and I have not had that in your group, in your organization. I've been expressive of what I went through, and how I got through it is through God, and I've never been frowned upon, well, not openly, but and I think that women would benefit with such an environment where there are other believers, uh, as you say you have in your group, in your community, that can be open about their faith too, to encourage the other person. So yeah, I love that.
So our organization, it's not a faith-based organization, but like you said, I am a Christian, faithful woman, and I consider myself a power prayer, and I mean you're even. I look up to you so much with that. It's not, but I'm open to, again, we have mutual respect. So I'm happy that you feel respected, you're able to express that, because if someone had a different faith, I would hope that we would also respect their faith. So but it's not a place where we're really, what do they say? Don't talk about politics and religion, right? Because you never know where that's going to
Of
go.
course.
Yeah. So I think we have to be sensitive to that in an organization that welcomes, everyone. I believe in not being judgmental. Of course, you know, I, I am strong in my faith, and I just have to respect and want to respect other people, and just we're all great examples, right? And whatever we are doing to good people to practice our faith, we are just examples, and we're beacons of light. And that's how I walk through life. And I'm not going to ever judge anybody if they don't believe what I believe. And I would hope they wouldn't judge you or I as well.
Yes, and community is so important, that I truly believe that there's not a woman that's going to, even if they didn't believe, that is not going to come forward and say, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And that is really important, because it takes a village, and sharing each other's burden is very healing and very empowering for anyone that's going through this, grief or whatever it is. And we know that it's not only a loss of a loved one, it can be in a divorce, in a, loss of relationship, or even just loss of stability. So having you, I mean, I can't tell you enough how powerful it is to see a woman, a follower of Jesus, stand up and take responsibility for putting women together. And we know that when women are together in one room, it's not always roses and perfumes, but you take that on. I watch you during the dinners or whatever, the events, and I just see how gracious you are with everybody, and how accepting you are. And I'm sure that deep inside there's a couple of people that probably irritate you, but you don't even show that. You're just a light, and I'm so grateful. And I pray that God will bless all that you endeavor to do with this HeartLink network, with your Juice Plus. I know you've got amazing sons, a son in the military. Please thank him for me. My freedoms is because of, he's one of them, that is out there doing it. A wonderful husband, and I'm so glad you're my friend. I'm so glad I'm in your community. And I know that women will most likely want to reach out. So they've got this, they can take a picture. What would be your last words for this woman listening about community, about taking care of herself, about faith, what would you be your last words?
Well, I believe that as a part of our holistic health, that having a spiritual aspect, and you and I are Christians, and we love Jesus, and there's so much power in prayer, the way that we pray and ask Jesus and love Jesus, and so all of that is how we go about it, but spirituality is so important. So I think whenever I haven't experienced the kind of grief that you or the ladies I was talking about last night have gone through, although I have witnessed people going through grief, and what I've seen is that when you have God, that you have